Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wilton Report. Today we are going to give a case study on exactly how to sell your home and get 10 offers. If you haven't hit subscribe, please do so, and I'll see you in a second. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wilton Report. My name is Josh Wilton. We are talking all things real estate in Princeton, Greater Princeton. Again, as always, if you have not hit subscribe, please hit the subscribe button. It does help the broadcast grow. And if you know somebody thinking of buying or selling or just wants to chat real estate, we love talking real estate, please feel free to share the episodes and or the podcasts with them. So that being said, today, before we get started, we have our last seller seminar of the year. And I can give you a verbal save the date. We just set the date for what seems to be the crowd favorite, the market seminar, the January market seminar, where we review and preview the market. We make the calls on what we think the market's going to do. So that'll be January 23rd at 10:15 a.m. The seller seminar, and this episode is a case study of how we put a house on the market recently, got 10 offers, and another seller went, at the same time frame, another seller went with another agent on another house, took their house off the market. So this is a case study of exactly what we do to sell your house and get 10 offers, because that's exactly what happened on this one. So let's get to it. So it's the MBA in Princeton, Greater Princeton Real Estate. I believe this is session 5. We're going to go with it. And it's a quick step-by-step exactly what we did to sell a house recently in the market. So the subject property for today is 30 Woodview Drive in Montgomery Township. And you can see it's a lovely colonial, big lot, just a pretty neighborhood in the Belmead section of Montgomery, just an awesome house. So again, the subject property, they bought it in 2001. I'm not going to tell you how many kids they had or have. It's none of your business. But they lived in it for 25 years. And as they said when we met them the first night, they never updated the property. They didn't paint it. It was the original carpets from when they bought it, which again, when they bought it, were super high-end carpets. And, you know, when you have kids, I have 3 kids, you live hard, and they're expats. They had family in and out from overseas. So, you know, it is what it is. The house was definitely lived in, and I'm going to show you some photos of what it was like before and after we staged it. So the initial meeting, what we did is we always do, we review the market. Like, this is what's happening in the market, sort of at a 10,000 foot level. This is what's happening in Montgomery. This is what's happening in the colonial market in Montgomery. And we reviewed overall pricing methodologies and marketing strategies. We talked about our Zillow Premier platform. We talked about our pricing philosophy of aspirational market and event-based pricing. You know, we obviously took a tour of the house. We took a lot of photos. We took a lot of notes. And really, the initial meeting is a setup for us to come back and go, okay, let us get our head around what we think of the house. And we're always going to give you 2 prices. If you bring us in to sell your house, you're going to get 2 prices, and I'll explain what that means. So for the second meeting, we reviewed their pricing and marketing options, right? And we're not going to get too much into marketing today, but we can on a different episode. So we actually gave them 2 separate prices. We said, look, if you put it on as is, and as is would have meant cleaning out the stuff, getting the kids' stuff out, but not changing the carpets, not doing anything. Not painting, not changing the bathroom lights, not fixing the deck or any of the other stuff that just really needed to be done, deferred maintenance, $999, $999.99. Keep it below $1 million. And they said, what do you think it'll sell? And I said, honestly, I have no idea. It won't be very high because buyers don't know the price of anything. Agents don't know how to get and don't have a contracting team. Usually they can bring in before a bid happens. I said, however, if we stage it, right, and we went through what we meant by staging. I'm going to give you exactly what we did. We would put it on at $1,299. That's a $299,000 difference with the expectations that it's going to sell in the 1.3s. And this is literally the part of the pricing analysis we did for them. So again, when we meet with clients, buyers or sellers, we always put our pricing opinion in pink, where we want to start. And then for the seller's case, we always say, look, this is where we think you're going to end up, high or low. Like if you aspirationally price it and you price above the market, well, you're going to sell at the market. And we'll put that in there. In this case, we did event-based or party pricing, and we listed it at $1,299,000 with the expectation and the forethought that it's going to sell from $1,335,000 to $1,401,000. That's literally what we said This was the original pricing sheet from when we went to their house, late summer, early fall. This is the net analysis of what we gave them. So key points. When we meet with a seller, I'm very clear. They always say, when's the best time to sell a house? Sell it when you're ready to sell it. Don't sell it before. Spring is peak season, peak contract season. It's also peak inventory season, right? So you're going to have more competition. Are there more buyers looking? Yeah, but there's more houses for sale. So, don't try and overtime and overthink the market. Sell when it's a good time to sell. And I think for these particular people who are the nicest people in the world, I think that really resonated with them. They had a kid going off to college. They had a kid going to work that was living in the house, that was moving to their next phase of life, as we like to say as parents. They're moving out on their own. So we just said, look, when you're ready to sell, these are your two baseline numbers, and we talked about it. And we had probably 3 or 4 subsequent phone calls and meetings and text exchanges, or more than that, really. And they decided to contract with us to list their house. They just liked our approach. They liked the data analysis that we do, the 9 points that we always go over that indicate where a house is going to sell. So we said, okay, now the next step is we need to price out in detail what it's going to cost to stage a house. Like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to send our contractors in there if you're not going to hire us. So if you hire us, we're going to send our contractors in, and we will do a point-by-point analysis of what it'll take to stage the house. So if we want to go for the 1299 price, this is what it's going to cost to get there. So this is literally, we put everything into Google Drive for our customers. This is the handyman estimate. This is the painting estimate, the carpet estimate. Well, that's the pricing analysis. The Bob's estimate. We had a flooring estimate. So the number I'm showing you, the $25,330, that was just for the painting. So just to paint this house with some, like, repair of some wood on the deck and, replacing lights, et cetera, just to paint 30 Woodview was $25,330. But again, they hadn't painted it in 25 years, right? So it seems like a lot of money, but when you spread that out over 25 years, and literally we're living with the same paint they moved in on with all the kids' scuff marks, because that's what kids do to houses, right? They scuff it out. You divide, that's $1,000 a year that they really could have spent over time. So the total staging estimate was about $50,000. And what you're looking at right now, that's actually James Jocelyn, who's on my team. He's one of the senior guys on my team. He's actually the senior guy on my team. Highly successful young man. It was his customer, and when we work on a team, I work with all the associates on my team. This is what this room looked like. And again, they lived in it, right? This is some antique stuff from overseas, family memorabilia and heirlooms, but books on the thing, and the red chairs don't really match the carpet, and there's those banging yellow walls, which is awesome, but, we're trying to sell the house. And this is an after picture. So when you look at this particular picture, that room in the right-hand side of this photo, and if you're watching this or listening to this on Spotify, this is a super visual episode. I recommend heading over to YouTube. That room on the right, that is that yellow room. So it went from this to this. So we priced it out. They said, we're going to spend the 50 with this expectation. We're going to list at 1299 and we're going to sell in the 13s, right? We painted the banister black. We painted the spindles white, right? And again, when you look at this carpet here, the wood floors are in good shape. We took that carpet out and put new carpet in, right? So there was a lot of work that went into this, just that one room. This was a dining room, and the dining room table for them was an actual keepsake. It was a beautiful piece that they bought. I forget the price, but it was fairly expensive. But you can see, had the dark walls. It had the heavy chandelier. It had the heavy mirror, had the heavy furniture in it, if you will, right? And again, that was awesome 25 years ago. Like, that's heavy, sort of, I want to use the word Gothic, but that heavier theme was in. This is what the dining room looked like when we got done with it. So again, before, this is how you live in a house. This is how you present it for sale. Before they went down this road, we priced everything. That's their dining room table. It is beautiful looking, obviously, when you take the stuff off. So, but you can see, like, we changed the chandelier. Like, we put a new chandelier in the dining room to make it light and bright, because you can see there's no recessed lighting in the dining room. So this is the family room. In this room, we put in a wood floor. So we priced the wood floor. We said, look, if you put the wood floor in, this is our expectation of what you're going to get back. So, we're very conservative with our sellers' money. If you're going to spend $1, we're going to make $2. And in this case, we spent 50 and we made, well, I'll tell you what the net price is. You'll be happy. So we put a wood floor in this. We took the purple carpet out. We took the furniture out. We put in staging furniture. We put that chandelier in. We put the mirror in. We cleaned the windows. We took the old blinds off of this room. This bedroom, again, this was purple carpet, pink walls, just a lot of like heavy desk equipment, AV equipment everywhere. We just took it all out. We put new carpets in throughout the entire house. So we had our carpet guy give us an estimate, tear everything out, put everything in, put new bathroom lights in, painted the deck, decluttered the house, moved a lot of their stuff out. They filled dumpsters. They filled the pod. This is a lot of work. So again, if you're a seller, come to the seminar, because this is what we're covering for you. If you're a buyer, you see what goes into a house that's getting ready for the market. So now all the staging's done. And again, this is where the seller usually says, why am I selling? It looks really good, And I've been there myself. So, and the conversation is they really wanted to list it in the 1.3s. Like, we just spent $50,000, Josh. And I said, look, let's review the pricing philosophy. Do you want market pricing where you're going to get 1, maybe 2 offers and you're at the mercy of the market, right? Or do you want to do event-based pricing, party pricing, and let the market drive it up, and then you get to pick? So again, when you remember in the beginning of this podcast, I said this is going to end in the 1.3s just to the 1.4 range. That was my prediction on this particular house based on all the 9 things that go into it. So we listed at $1.299 million. We had 10 offers. And here's the kicker. They didn't take the highest offer. We settled at $1.375001 because it had the best terms for the seller. They wanted to stay in the house a little bit longer. These particular buyers gave them an elongated closing. So what we do is we take all the offer details for the seller and we put them in, unsurprisingly, knowing me, a spreadsheet. We say, look, this, and again, for here, we took the buyer's name and the agent name out. It's not relevant and it's their, privacy. We put the deposit that's written on the contract, the percentage down, what type of loan. So you can see offer 1 was an FHA loan. What does that mean? It means it's got some extra contingencies just within the loan, right? Again, this was times 10. There was 10 columns to this offer summary sheet. We put the appraisal terms, and you can see offer 1 waived the appraisal. Offer 3 said we're going to leave the appraisal, but we're going to cover if there's an appraisal problem, which there wasn't, the first $40,000 difference. Offer 4 waived the appraisal. We put the co-bro commission. We put the offer price, if they used an escalation clause, if they use an escalation cap. We put the gross offer price, and then we put the seller net. That's the important thing. In this particular scenario, I think it's line 16. My eyes are so bad. And then we put the closing date in there. So the seller goes, offer 1, it's going to net me $1,347,000. Offer 4 is going to net me $1,332,000. And we just go left to right and we review them. So as a seller, what would you rather have? Me sitting in front of you reviewing this, which I just did for another customer Sunday night, put the house on the market Wednesday, same thing, same stager, same painter, same everything. Same photographer, same Zillow, showcase listing, same paid plan that we do to advertise your house online. Put it on Wednesday, wrapped it up Sunday, 5 offers. The seller, I can tell you, made well over $200,000 over their asking price. So as a seller, what do you want? Do you want this, or do you want to sit on the market, battling the market, waiting for the offer because you think your house is special? Your house is subject to the 9 things that determine value. If you want to know what they are, you call me up. We'll come out to your house. We'll give you an opinion. But again, as a buyer, on the flip side, it's not where it's listed. It's where it's going to end and why. Just so we're clear, right? So when you look at this as a seller, you really just have to say, how do I want to go about this? because you can't outsmart the market. By overpricing your house, the only thing you're doing is committing yourself to be on the market longer than you should. By putting it at the market price, you may get an offer, you may get two. What happens if one falls apart? Then you're at the mercy of the other offer. You don't have any leverage. If you net effect event-based price it, right, and get 10 offers, who do you think? This is what the seller did. They said, you know what, we're going to take offer 8 because it's not the highest price. It's pretty close, but we get to live in the house for an extra, 30 to 45 days. Because again, kids going out to college, kids moving, they had to go overseas to deal with some family stuff. So again, they got the luxury of choice. When you don't have a strategy to list your house, you lose the luxury of choice and you're at the mercy of the market, which is not where you want to be. As a buyer on the flip side, is this relevant to you? Yeah, because again, it's not where it starts. I'm going to go right back to where that pricing sheet was in the beginning. It's where it's going to end and why. Like the 9 things that determine value are really, really important for buyers and for sellers. So I hope you found this informative. If you're thinking of selling, obviously, please shoot us a text, 609-773-8054. Our contact details are in the body of the YouTube channel. And also, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to this channel and share the broadcast with anybody you know that is buying or selling or thinking of investing in the Princeton, Greater Princeton area. That's it for this week's episode of the Wilton Report. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you back here next week.